Good morning, students. Say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book and take page number 126. Yes, in today's class we will discuss about Peshwas. So who were Peshwas? So in our previous class we learned about Shivaji. So how he established the Maratha kingdom in Deccan region. Okay, so he had 8 ministers. So they were called as Ashtapradhan. So among them, so Peshwa is there. So who was the prime minister? So initially, so Chhatrapati, that is the king, had real power. But later, what happened in Maratha kingdom? So the Peshwas began to establish their supremacy in their own region. Okay, so Chhatrapati, so they became just a nominal ruler, but the real power was vested with the Peshwas. So in today's class, we will discuss about Peshwas, and before that, we will learn about so the son of Shivaji, so Shambhuji, and the grandson of Shivaji, Shahu Maharaj. So how they ruled the Maratha kingdom. So after that only, so after them only, so the Peshwas began to establish their dominance all over the Maratha kingdom, and extended their empire. And finally, we discuss about the reason for the fall of Marathas. Okay, so what we discussed in our previous class? So we discussed about Shivaji. So how he established the Maratha empire. So before that we discussed so the factor responsible for the rise of Marathas. So the geographical features, then the Bhakti movement under the Marathas, then the literature and language of the Marathas. So if you take geographical feature, so the physical feature of the Maratha country have developed some special characters among the Marathas. So that differentiate them from the rest of the people of India. Then the Bhakti movement under the Marathas. So it helped the people, Maratha people, to develop some knowledge about their identity and the unity. Then we discussed some of the Bhakti saints, so who were from the Maratha region. So Eknath, Tukaram, then Ramdas. Then we discussed about literature and language of the Marathas. So the Marathi language and literature has united the people. Then Shivaji. So Shivaji, so he was the son of Shaji Bhonsle, so who was an officer in the Ahmednagar state. So Shaji Bhonsle, so he was an officer in the Ahmednagar state. So he worked under Shah Jahan. He worked during Shah Jahan period. But Shivaji, so he was the real Maratha leader. So he was the real founder. So his achievements we have discussed in our previous class. So he had a quarrel with so Sultan of Bijapur. So he captured some of his forts. So some of the forts of Bijapur Sultan. Then we discussed his contention, his problem with Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb tried to capture him, but he escaped from prison. So from the prison of Aurangzeb. Then he began to oppose Mughal Empire continuously. So he coronated himself as Chhatrapati in the year 1674. So we have discussed these things, and also we discussed about the Maratha administration under Shivaji. So he have Ashtapradhan. So he had 8 ministers. So they were together called as Ashtapradhan. So we discussed about their responsibilities also. Okay, so today we will discuss about Peshwas. Okay, Shambhuji, so he succeeded Shivaji after a succession tussle with Anaji Datto. So Shambhuji, so he was son of Shivaji. But he had to capture the throne. So after a struggle, after a compete with Anaji Datto. So Anaji Datto is one of the minister of Shivaji. So there were some family feuds. So feuds means so small group in a family. So splintering the Maratha kingdom. So there were some family problems. So that family groups, so that divides the Maratha kingdom. So in Maratha kingdoms there were some family nobles are there. So they divide the kingdom into smaller groups. So Durga Das of Rathur and Aurangzeb's rebellion. So rebel means a person who fight against the government. So Durgadas of Rathore and Aurangzeb rebel son. So Akbar arrived in Maharashtra and took shelter in Shambhuji's court. So Aurangzeb viewed this development very seriously, and he wanted to finish off Shambhuji. So Aurangzeb's son, rebel son Akbar, and Durgadas, so from Rathore. So they took shelter in Shambhuji's court. So Aurangzeb viewed this development very seriously, and he took out all efforts to finish off Shambhuji. But Marathas under Shambhuji were in no position to resist the Mughals. So Marathas under Shambhuji now, they were in no position to resist, to rise against the Mughals. So Aurangzeb himself arrived in the Deccan in the year 1681. So his main goal was to annex Bijapur and Golconda. So these two sultanates, so Bijapur and Golconda Sultanate, so fell to Aurangzeb by 1687. In little over a year, Shambhuji was also captured by the Mughals, and after torture, he was put to death. So Shambhuji, so he was succeeded Shivaji. So Shambhuji, the son of Shivaji, so succeeded him. But before capturing the throne, so he had to fight or compete with the minister of Shivaji, Anaji Datto. So there were the Maratha kingdom. So the Maratha kingdom was divided into smaller groups. So Durgadas of Rathore and Aurangzeb's rebel son Akbar so arrived in Maharashtra, and they took shelter in Shambhuji's court. So Aurangzeb did not like this, and he wanted to finish off Shambhuji. So he himself came to Deccan in the year 1681. So the Marathas under Shambhuji were in no position to rise against the Mughals. So Aurangzeb's main goal was to finish off Shambhuji and also the annexation of Bijapur and Golconda. So by 1687, he captured both Bijapur and Golconda. In little over a year, Shambhuji was also captured by Aurangzeb, and Shambhuji was put to death after torture. So Shambhuji was under the powerful influence of his family priest Kavi Kalas. So Kavi Kalas, so he was the caretaker of Shambhuji in Varanasi when Shivaji was in Agra prison. So Shivaji was put in prison by Aurangzeb. So when Shivaji was defeated by Raja Jai Singh, so he was ordered to meet Aurangzeb in Agra's court. When Shivaji was not treated properly, he opposed Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb ordered to put him in jail. So Shivaji escaped from Agra prison by hiding himself in basket, vegetable basket. So during that time, Kavi Kalash was the caretaker of Shambhuji in Varanasi. So he later brought Shambhuji safely to Raigarh. So from Varanasi to Raigarh, so Kavi Kalash brought Shambhuji safely. So his dominance in the Shambhuji's court became strong in course of time as Shambhuji looked to his advice for everything. So later, so when Shambhuji came to throne, so Shambhuji was under full control of Kavi Kalash. So because Shambhuji looked on Kavi Kalash for everything, so for every needs. So Kavi Kalash was a distinguished scholar and poet. So Kavi Kalash, so he was a scholar and a poet. But he was a practitioner of witchcraft. So witchcraft means use of magic powers, especially evil ones. So even though Kavi Kalash was a scholar and poet, so he was a practitioner of witchcraft. That is, he used magical powers. So he knows some magical powers. So the Orthodox Hindus in the court had developed a deep hatred for him. So since he was a practitioner of witchcraft, so he was not liked by the Orthodox Hindus. When Shambhuji was captured by the Mughal army, he was found to be in the company of Kavi Kalash. So when Shambhuji was defeated by Mughal army, so he was found to be in the company of Kavi Kalash. So both of them were subjected to all forms of torture, and then they were put to death by the orders of Aurangzeb. So Kavi Kalash, so he was a family priest of Shambhuji. So he was the caretaker of Shambhuji in Varanasi during Shivaji's flight from Agra. He later brought Shambhuji safely to Raigarh. His dominance in the court became absolute in the course of time as Shambhuji looked to his advice for everything. So for every action so done by Shambhuji, so he depends on Kavi Kalash. So Kavi Kailas was a scholar and a poet. So, but he was a practitioner of witchcraft. So when Shambhuji was captured by the Mughal army, he was found to be in the company of Kavi Kailash. So both of them were subjected to all forms of torture, and then they were put to death by the orders of Aurangzeb. Shahu Maharaja. So Shivaji's grandson Shahu. So Shahu means honest. So the name was given by Aurangzeb. So because he was in contrast in character with that of Shivaji. So Shivaji's grandson Shahu means honest. So originally a name given by Aurangzeb to contrast his character. So because he was different from his grandparent. So from his grandfather character, that of Shivaji. So he ruled from 1708 to 1749. So during the first half of 18th century, so consolidation of royal power was achieved through conferment. So conferment means action of giving reward. So consolidation means so to make a position of power or success so stronger, so that it is likely to be continued. So consolidation means to make a position or power so to be stronger, so that it likely to be continued. So during the first half of the 18th century, the consolidation of the royal power was achieved through conferment of royal entitlements upon those who served Shahu. So Shahu, so initially so he tried to consolidate the Maratha empire. So the name was given by Aurangzeb. So because his character was contrasted with that of Shivaji. So Shahu Maharaja. So during Shahu's 40-year reign, there was increase in the territory under the Maratha control, from which tribute was regularly collected. So during Shahu's 40-year rule, there was an increase in the territory under the Marathas. So more centralized and strong state structure also began to take shape. So more centralized. So centralized means so the power, so the full power was in the central government. So no division of power. See, every household, including that of the landed household, profited from the state employment. So every person, so everyone, so including that of the landed household, also get profit from the state employment. Peshwas. So Peshwas, the prime ministers. So Balaji Viswanath so began his career as a small revenue official and became Peshwa in the year 1713. So Balaji Viswanath, he started his career as a small revenue official and he became the Peshwa in the year 1713. So much against the advice from his close circles, Shahu appointed 20-year-old Viswanath's eldest son Bajirao to occupy the office of Peshwa. So much against the advice from his close circles. So Shahu Maharaj, so the Chhatrapati. So he appointed 20-year-old Balaji Viswanath's eldest son Bajirao to occupy the office of Peshwa. So Bajirao, so the Peshwa. So he was the son of Balaji Viswanath. So he was appointed as Peshwa when he was 20 years old. So by Shahu Maharaja. So Bajirao decided to launch a major Maratha onslaught. So onslaught means a strong or violent attack against the Mughals and the Nizam of Hyderabad. So Bajirao so decided to launch a major Maratha so violent attack against the Mughals and also the Nizam of Hyderabad. So Bajirao assumed the powers of the commander-in-chief. So Bajirao assumed the powers of the commander-in-chief. So he was wise in his choice of commanders of these campaigns. So he was wise. So he was honest. So in his choice of commanders for these campaigns. So instead of relying on the traditional elite group, so elite group means so they have some special character. So they were different from the whole population. A section of people who were entirely different. So who have some special qualifications. So some special skill. So from the rest of the population. So instead of depending on the traditional elite group, so namely Deshmukhs, he gave commands to the Gaikwad, Holkar and Shinde or Scindia families who had been loyal to the Emperor Shahu, his father Balaji Viswanath, and to him. So initially the Marathas, so they gave importance to the traditional elite group like Deshmukh. But Bajirao, so he decided to so give commands not only to Deshmukh but also to the other family groups, so like Gaikwad, Holkar and Scindia, so who had been loyal to the Emperor Shahu and also his father Balaji Viswanath and also to him. So the prominent Maratha families, so the Maratha kingdom was ruled by so several Maratha families. So the most important Maratha families were so Gaikwad at Baroda, Bhonsle at Nagpur, Holkar at Indore, Shinde or Shindia at Gwalior, and Peshwa at Pune. So the prominent Maratha families were so Gaikwad at Baroda, Bhonsle at Nagpur, Holkar at Indore, Sindhi or Shindia at Gwalior, and Peshwa at Pune. So these were the prominent Maratha families. Initially they gave importance to the Deshmukhs. So but later, so during the period of Bajirao, so he gave importance to, he gave comments to the other royal families, or other prominent Maratha families, so like Gaikwad, Bhonsle, Holkar, Shinde. Okay, so Bajirao, so he declared war against the Malwa and Gujarat and freed them from the Mughal domination. So Bajirao, so he declared war against the Malwas and also Gujarat, and he freed them from the Mughal domination. So initially they were under the Mughal control. So the Mughal army and the troops of the Nizam that intervened on the behalf of the Mughals were defeated. So the Mughal army and the troops of Nizam, so Nizam of Hyderabad, so who intervened on the behalf of the Mughals were also defeated by the army of Bajirao. So Bajirao succeeded in getting the recognition of Shahu as the king of Maharashtra and overlord of the rest of the Deccan, from which the tribute of the Chowth and Shadeshmukhi could be legally collected by the Maratha officials. So Bajirao succeeded in getting the recognition of Shahu as the king of Maharashtra and also the overlord of the rest of the Deccan region, so from which so he collected taxes through the Maratha officials. So Bajirao centralized the official functions in Pune. So official means so connected with government taxes. So connected with taxes. So Bajirao so centralized the so tax. So the collection of tax functions in the Pune. So this helped to receive the prompt transmission of tribute from the Deccan. So prompt means so done without delay. So this helped to receive the tax, tax from the Deccan region without delay. So Bajirao proclaimed war against the Malwa and Gujarat and freed them from the Mughal domination. So the Mughal army and the troops of Nizam was defeated by Bajirao. So Bajirao also succeeded in getting the recognition of Shahu so as the king of Maharashtra and overlord of the rest of the Deccan region, from which so the tax was collected regularly by the Maratha officials. So Bajirao also centralized the official functions in Pune. So this helped him to receive the tribute, so to receive the so tax amount from the Maratha kingdom so as soon as possible, so without delay. The Maratha army, initially which have no more than 5,000 horsemen. Initially the Maratha army so had not more than 5,000 horsemen and no artillery. So artillery means a large heavy guns which are often moved on wheels. So large heavy guns which are often moved on wheels. So initially so the Maratha army so which consisted of no more than 5,000 horsemen and no artillery had by 1720 had doubled in its size. So by 1720, so during the reign of Shah Maharaj. So during the reign of Shah Maharaj and also Bajirao. So period of Peshwa Bajirao, so the Maratha army had doubled in its size, but they were no match for the Mughals and the Nizam. So but the Maratha army, so by the year 1720 had doubled in its size, but they were no match for the Mughals and the Nizam. But the success of Marathas against the Mughals was mainly due to the weakness of the latter. So even though so the army strength was doubled in the year 1720, so they were no match to the against the Mughals and the Nizam. But so the reason for the success of Marathas against the Mughals was so because of the weakness of the Mughals. So the Maratha dominance in the Deccan is also attributed to the qualities of Maratha officials and generals who grew up under Shahu and the Peshwas. So and also another one is so why the Marathas so were dominant in the Deccan region means so because of the qualities so the Maratha officials developed under Shahu and also under the Peshwas, especially under Bajirao. So Balaji Viswanath and Bajirao. So that's why it helped them to defeat the large Mughal and the Nizam kingdom. Okay, so the Mughals, so they ruled all over the North India. So they are very powerful, but they were defeated. So only because so they were weak. So after the death of Aurangzeb, so the Mughals, so they were not in a position of dominant power. So they were politically weak. Balaji Bajirao, 1740 to 1761. When Balaji Bajirao was the Peshwa, Emperor Shahu died in the year 1749. So there was a possibility of succession. So struggle for succession among the factions of the royal family was averted. So among the factions, so faction means a small group of people with a larger one whose members have some different opinion. Yeah, so a small group of people, so within a large family, so who have some different opinion. So there was a succession. So there was a struggle for succession among the different families of the Marathas. But Balaji Bajirao, so brought these problems to an end, and he forced the families, so Maratha families, so the Chhatrapati families, to accept the conditions he laid down. So after the death of Emperor Shahu, so there was a possibility of succession. So there was a possibility of struggle for succession among the small group of people, with the royal family. So but Balaji Bajirao, so he solved all the contending factions, contending disagreement, and forced them to accept the conditions he laid down. He decided that the capital of the kingdom would be henceforth to be at Pune, not Satara. So he decided that the capital of the Maratha kingdom should be in Pune and not at Satara. All power and authority was now concentrated in the Peshwa's office. So all the power, so all the Maratha power and authority was now concentrated in the Peshwa's office. So Balaji Bajirao now commanded an army of paid soldiers. So Balaji Bajirao now commanded the army of paid soldiers. So the Maratha peasant warrior band. So band means a group of people. So was reconfigured. So reconfigured means to make changes to a way that something is arranged. So to make changes. So he changed. So the Maratha peasant warrior band and its run came to an end. So the Maratha peasant army came to an end. So Maratha soldiers were not permitted now to retire from the battlefield each year for the purpose of cultivating their land. So Maratha soldiers, they were now not permitted to retire from the battlefield. So each year, so since they required to cultivate in their land, so soldiers were required to live in fort and towns far away from their home. So soldiers were now given as paid salary. So regularly they were given paid salary, and they have to be live in the fort or town, so which was far away from their homeland. So that means the peasants, so now they were not allowed to be in army. So they were required to cultivated in land. So for the army, so Bajirao decided to give regular paid salary. So for that, so he ordered them to stay in fort or in the town region. So they were trained as infantrymen as well as horsemen. So the larger guns were nominally under the command of Maratha officers, but those who fired and maintained them were mostly of Portuguese, French, and British. So the larger guns were nominally, were in the name under the command of Maratha officers. So but they were really maintained by the Portuguese, French, and the British. During the period of Peshwa Balaji Rao, the northern frontiers of the Maratha states were rapidly touching Rajasthan, Delhi, and the Punjab. So at some point, the Maratha tributary regime extended itself to within 50 miles of Delhi. So during the period of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, so the northern frontiers, so the northern border of Maratha Empire was just touching Rajasthan, Delhi, and also Punjab. So at some point, at some end, the Maratha tributary regime extended up to Delhi, so just 50 miles away from Delhi. The Marathas launched raids from Nagpur against Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha. So notwithstanding the conflict between the Marathas and the Nizam over Karnataka, Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu regions were effectively brought under the control of Marathas. In the south, so they had quarrel with the Nizam over Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kannada, and Telugu regions. So they were also brought under the control of Marathas. So between 1745 and 1751, so plundering expeditions were launched yearly by the Maratha chieftain Rahuji Bhonsle. So between 75 to 1751, so plundering, so looting the wealth of others, so were also launched yearly by the Maratha chieftain Rahuji Bhonsle. So Balaji Bajirao, so he was responsible for the expansion of the Maratha Empire. So he totally changed the Maratha kingdom. So when he was in the office of Peshwa, Emperor Shahu died. So there was a possibility of succession of throne. But he brought all these problems to an end and make Peshwa an important office. So he make an Peshwa an important office. So all the power and authority was now concentrated in the Peshwa office. He shifted the capital city from Pune to Pune, so from Satara. Then, so he disbanded the Maratha peasant army. So he ordered the army of paid soldiers. Yeah. So during this period, so the empire extended towards in the northern region, it extended up to Rajasthan, Punjab, and Delhi, and the eastern side, so from Nagpur, so towards Bihar, Bengal, and Odisha, and the south, so he extended his control over Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kannada, and Telugu regions. So between 1745 to 1751, so plundering expeditions were launched yearly by the Maratha chieftain Raghujee Bhonsle. So Maratha administration under Peshwas. So the revenue administration of Peshwas was headed by a key official called the Kamavisdar. So the revenue administration, so the tax collecting responsibility of Peshwas was headed by a key official called the Kamavisdar. So he was appointed by the Peshwa. So Kamavisdar, so the officer for collecting the revenues. So he was empowered to maintain a small body of soldiers to police the administrative area from where the tribute or tax had to be collected. So Kamisdar, he was given power to maintain a small body of soldiers to look after the administrative area from which so the tribute or tax had to be collected. A small staff of clerk or servants were employed to maintain the revenue records. So he was allowed to maintain a small staff of clerks and servants to maintain the revenue records. So these records were randomly checked by the office of Peshwa. So the revenue records were often checked randomly by the office of Peshwa. So the contracts for the revenue collection was actioned annually after the revenue for a particular place was estimated by the Peshwa civil servants based on previous year's yield. So the contract, so the agreement for revenue collection was auctioned. So auctioned means a public event at which things are sold to the person who offers the most money for them. So in Tamil we can say ஏலம். So ஏலம் விடுறாங்க சொல்றாங்கல்ல, so that is auctioned. So the contracts for revenue collection was auctioned annually. So after the revenue for a particular place was estimated by the Peshwa civil servants based on previous year's yield. A prospective tax or revenue collector who won the contract was expected to have a reputation for wealthy and probity. So after the auction, so the revenue collection was given to the person who have a proper wealth and property. He was required to pay a portion of the whole of the anticipated revenue, 1/3 to 1/2, either out of his own wealth or from the money borrowed from the bankers. So he was required to pay a portion of the whole of the anticipated revenue, that is 1/3 to 1/2, either out of his own wealth or from the money borrowed from the bankers. So judging from the ledgers of the correspondence and account books, it is evident that the Peshwas were keen on accurate record keeping. So judging from the ledgers, so from the list of the correspondence and also from the account books, it is known that the Peshwas were keen on accurate record keeping. So the Peshwa regimes looked distinctly modern in comparison with the Mughals, to whose fall they contributed militarily. So the Peshwa regime looked distinctly modern in comparison with the Mughals, to whose fall they contributed militarily. So the revenue administration of Peshwas was headed by the key officials called Kamavisdar. So he was empowered to maintain a small body of soldiers to police the administrative area from which the tax had to be collected. Apart from that, a small staff of clerks and servants were also employed to maintain the revenue records. So these records were randomly checked by the office of the Peshwa. So the contract, so the power for collecting the revenue was auctioned annually after the revenue for a particular place was fixed by the Peshwa's civil servants. A prospective tax or a revenue collector, so one who won the contract was expected to have a reputation, to have a property and also have a wealth. So the revenue collector, so who was now elected, so who was now chosen, was required to pay a portion of the whole of the anticipated revenue, either out of his own wealth or from the money borrowed from the bankers. So from the records, from the accounts, it is evident that the Peshwa were keen on maintaining the records so accurately. Then last, so the fall of the Marathas. So the imperial movement of the Marathas sadly ended at Panipat near Delhi in 1761. So the imperial, so the importance of the Marathas so came to an end at Panipat near Delhi in 1761. The Marathas attempted to extend their dominion beyond Punjab was checked by the king of Afghans, Ahmad Shah Abdali. So the Marathas attempt to extend their power beyond Punjab was checked by the king of Afghans, Ahmad Shah Abdali. So Abdali invaded 8 times before finally marching on to Delhi. Ahmad Shah Abdali, so he was king of Afghan. So he invaded 8 times into Delhi. The Marathas were now divided among several commanders who approached the battle with different skills. So the Marathas now were divided among several commanders. So they approached the battlefield, that is the Battle of Panipat. So this is the third battle of Panipat. So artillery decided the battle in January 1761. So the artillery decided the battle in 1761. So the mobile artillery of the Afghans proved lethal against Maratha cavalry and infantry. So because Marathas had no that much importance of artillery, so they gave importance to cavalry and infantry. So the Maratha army was shattered, and the surviving men took 6 months to return to Maharashtra from Panipat to report the tragedy. So the Maratha army was easily defeated by Afghan army under Ahmad Shah Abdali in the third battle of Panipat in the year 1761. So the news reached the Maharashtra region only after 6 months. So by then the Maratha supremacy over the Indian subcontinent was effectively over. So after the third battle of Panipat, so the Maratha supremacy over the Indian subcontinent was effectively over. Okay students, so today's class we have discussed about Peshwas and we have completed the lesson. So Peshwas, an important officer, so the Prime Minister of Maratha Kingdom. So Shahu Maharaja, so we discussed about Shambhuji, then later about Shahu Maharaja. So during the reign of Shahu Maharaja, so the Peshwa was Balaji Vishwanath. So Shahu Maharaja gave more importance to Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. So Balaji Vishwanath was succeeded by his son Bajirao. So Balaji Bajirao. So he was the real founder of Peshwa kingdom in Maratha Empire. So how he became the important person in Maratha family. So we have discussed then the Maratha families, so the most important Maratha families. Then we discussed after the death of Shah Maharaja, there was a possibility of succession of throne. So Balaji Bajirao so brought all this problem to an end, and he forced the families, so the Maratha families, to accept the conditions he laid down. So he also shifted his capital to Pune from Shadara. So Balaji Bajirao so now also commanded an army of paid soldiers. So now he allowed the peasants to look after their land. So initially, so the Maratha soldiers were not permitted to retire from the battlefields each year for the purpose of cultivating their land. Now he ordered the soldiers so to live in fort and towns far away from their home. So he gave importance to the infantrymen also. So he had his empire so touching the frontiers of Rajasthan, Delhi and Punjab, and in the eastern side Bihar, Bengal and Odisha, and he extended his empire over the Nizam. So then we discussed about the Maratham session under the Peshwas. So the important key official so for collecting the revenue was Kamavishdar. So then we discussed the reason for the fall of Marathas. So Marathas, so their glory so brought to an end. So their glory came to an end in the third battle of Panipat, when they fought against the Afghan king Ahmad Shah Abdali in the year 1761. Okay students, so take your book. So today's homework. So take page number 132. 6th roll method. So third question is your homework. So just read the third question. Take page number 129. So see the heading Maratham session under Peshwas. So in that third point, that is in fourth line. So he strike out the word he on right Kamavishdar. So Kamavishdar was empowered to maintain a small body of soldiers to police the administrative area from where the tribute or tax had to be collected. So that is the answer for third question. So just write it and read it. So then textbook reading. So take page number 128. So read the heading Balaji Bajirao. So the 2 paragraph. So it also continued in page number 129. So that is your textbook reading. So read it. So if you have any doubt in this lesson, so please contact me. So thank you students. Have a nice day.